All right, so here are two more examples. So if you want to think about this idea that we're taking a percentage or a number, right, that's essentially been made out of 100, we can undo that and turn it into a decimal by getting rid of that per 100 or dividing it by 100. So in order to do that, you can end up, on our initial example, you know that you can end up here with 42 hundredths, and you can just have hundredths, right? You can also have percentages that are much bigger than 100, and so your decimal is going to use the same strategy, but you're going to end up with numbers that don't necessarily only have digits up to the hundredths. So if we take this example here, and we have 56 and 67 hundredths as a decimal, but this is not our decimal yet because this mathematical symbol is very important, right? This percentage sign here is telling you that it's really been multiplied by 100, right? It's out of or for every 100. So in order to turn it into its decimal form, what we want to do is we essentially want to undo that 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 percentage, right? For 100, we're going to undo it by dividing. So we're going to divide it by 10 and divide it by another 10, which 10 and 10 is 100. So we end up here with a really tiny, tiny number of 0.5667. Where'd that decimal go? 0.5667. To read this one out loud in fancy talk, you say 5,667 ten thousandths. Very, very tiny. You can also end up with numbers like this, where you have 1,978, not just 1,978, you have that as a percentage out of 100. After every number, we know that there is a decimal point, right? Even if we don't initially see it, we know after that final digit in the ones or the units place value spot, there is a decimal. It's always there. It just takes time to write it. So we don't always write it. This is saying that we have zero in the tenths, zero in the hundredths, and so on. So we want to put this decimal in as we're converting from percentage to decimal so that we know where it starts so that we can move it or we can whoop it as we divide by 100. So we're going to whoop, divide it by 10, whoop, divide it by 100. So our decimal has moved right here. So we've ended up with 19.78. We can add that zero there, right? You can add as many zeros behind there as you want. They don't hold value, so you don't have to write them. But you can say that we have 19 and 78 hundredths if you don't write the zero, or you can say 19 and 78 thousandths if you do write the zero.